I don't know, about 42 pounds.
So you have, there you go, exactly. So you've gained 10 pounds and you did it 5 pounds and then 5 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 5 pound window you have, that's what it's there to alert you to that, just what it did. And now you've gained 10 pounds and you're even more frantic about it. But
Yeah.
what's different? It's the way you're eating. Is it times of the day you're eating? Is it the amount of food you're eating? Is it what you're eating? What is it?
Well, I'll put it this way. I do good to around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I know I'm not drinking my water, and I definitely eat some of the things I shouldn't eat, but all I can say is,
Did you take a break? Is
did
that
I
what
take?
you've done? Or did you take?
Yeah, I took a break.
Okay. Is it time is it time for the break to be over with, or you want to wait until
It
September 7th?
No, I don't want to gain any more weight. It just, I
So
don't know. I can't control the stress in my life right now. That's what it is. I know that's it.
stress is a big factor.
There's so much going on.
Right. So one of the reasons that I went and there's several reasons I brought things back into the team room is I want us to, when September 7th gets here, I want us to all be on the same page already and ready to start. I do believe that one team that is always finishing first in front of us, it's start day one 100% committed. We haven't had the opportunity to try to do that. The other reason is because there's people who were doing really good inside the room, Peace being one of them, and she hasn't been able to communicate because she doesn't use Huddle Up. And you probably haven't been using Huddle Up either, have you?
No, but like I said, I just upgraded to 10, and it's a little, as you can tell tonight, it's different than the other. So, but I was on there today and I saw the Huddle Up, but I didn't get into everything.
So the Huddle Up doesn't do the same thing for us that our room does for us. And it's unfortunate that people in the Huddle Up room, because most of them have been on the challenge. That's the reason they're in the Huddle Up room. There's a couple of people in there that were invited so they could learn about the challenge, but it's not ever impacted them in a way that's made them curious or anything. So with all of that in mind, I was waiting for me to get all my trips and stuff over with, and then I was going to move us back into the room so we can have that support that we get from each other. And I think it does make a difference. Just even the stress factor you're talking about. So now we'll say to the other people in the room, has she said anything that any of you couldn't identify with?
Nope.
Okay, so it's part of the process, okay? That is part of the process. Yes?
Can you hear me?
I can.
I can.
Can I ask you a question, Cheryl?
Oh, go ahead.
Do you find when you aren't successful, if you think back, you didn't plan your day? You didn't.
That's true. That's true. I did not plan. That's what's happening.
Been there, done that. And you know what? If you, and that's what happens when you're under stress and you're very, very busy, because the things that you grab in a hurry, and I've done it myself, and I go up and down that 5 pounds, and I mean, I'm a health coach. I go up and down the 5 pounds, and it's because I don't have the time to plan when I get busy. And that is a constant thing for me, is getting too busy, and I'll get home, it'll be 6:30. I haven't planned what I'm going to have for dinner, so I don't eat what I should be eating.
Yep.
I am so lucky that I have Medifast products on hand, because for me, that's what I fall back on.
Mm-hmm.
But the lean and green meal or your dinner, if you haven't planned what you're going to have for dinner, there's too many things out there that you can grab that aren't the right thing for you.
Well, I guess my problem is I have four other people living with me that are not on this.
But I did the same thing when my husband was alive. My husband was diabetic.
Yeah.
And I did the same exact thing when I had other people around me. So it just comes down to planning. And I know that you're faced with the fact that you have to have things in the house that you really shouldn't have.
Really?
But when you get up in the morning.
Yeah, I do good in the morning and the afternoon.
If you can say to yourself, I think I'm in control of my life.
Oh, the stop, challenge, choose. Yeah.
And,
yes.
Well, but there's a little bit of psychology involved in I'm in control of my life. I know what I'm eating, and I think I'm not going to gain weight on it. That's a control too.
I have the question that I say to myself, is this going to help me towards what I want, or is it going to take me away from it? And that's really the same thing you have. That's my question when I ask that question, and that works really well with me too. I've had other questions in the past that haven't worked as well with me, but I can say that to myself now, is this going to help me get what I want, or is it going to take me further away from it? And it almost takes care of itself right there in the spot. Anybody else want to talk to Cheryl a little bit? We all have insight.
Well, Connie, like you know, when I first started and I got to my weight loss, I was on insulin. And when we started, one of Connie's clients' wife made us magnets with our before picture on it. And I had that on the door. As a matter of fact, it's still there. But I left my needle and my insulin in the refrigerator in that jar so that if I was tempted to eat something I shouldn't, I would do that. And it was like, it made me, and before they even had Stop, Challenge, and Choose, that's basically what I was doing. I would start to get something and I go like, do you want to go back to those needles? Mm-hmm. And of course the answer is no, I don't.
That's excellent. And Cheryl, you can take a picture of before, and you're still very successful. That nothing you've done has interfered with the success you've already enjoyed.
I just got out of control somehow. And listening to you all, that brings it back. That's
I would rather you say you treated yourself, because when you attach a negative to what you're doing, it makes what you're doing harder. This is not uncommon. This is very natural for all of us. And what we're learning in the Habits of Health is how to create new reactions in our brain, like Dorothy talks about, because that rut of falling off and going back to old habits is ingrained in your brain. And you cannot change that. It's going to always be there. What you have to do is create new ones. And as those older ones don't get used, they will fall away. And that's the sheer science of this. So by you putting in practices that's going to take you away from your old habits, you will get new paths in your brain that will be much easier to you to stick with. But those old paths are still ingrained in there, and they're going to always be pulling at you. But you're still very successful. You just took a vacation, you treated yourself, and so now you're going to do things so you can continue to do what you were doing before you took your little sabbatical. I think Marcia's suggestion is great. Go get a picture of you. You don't have to have a magnet. Get a magnet and set it on it of you before. There is a thing some people do, and they have marbles for the weight they have to lose. And as they lose a pound, it goes over in the other jar. So this is all the weight you want to lose. And then when you put a pound back on, the marble has to come back. That's a
cute idea.
That works really well, because you really don't want to put those marbles.
No, that's cute.
That's a good one. Anybody else want to chime in there for Cheryl? Got something to share?
Her water.
Yes,
you gotta make sure she gets her water.
Yeah.
Right. Because not only not only for the drinking, but you can hold 5 pounds of feces because you're not drinking enough water to void it out of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it may
So
not even be weight gain.
you can pack on 15 pounds
You're right.
of feces. So
You're right. I agree.
And so now I'll call on Marcia Novita, because I remember not too long ago when she was dilly-dallying with 5 pounds, weren't you? And,
Oh yeah.
and then you got back into the challenges, and I've seen you comment several times that you really love and Rhonda does the same thing, you really love the challenge because it keeps you aware.
It keeps me on track. Yes.
Molly,
Use your own words, and I'll back out.
Yeah, it keeps me on track, definitely. And it's so easy to fall off the wagon, though. So I really understand where you're coming from, because I'm a stress eater too.
Yeah.
It's like a comforting thing just to eat when you're stressed.
Yeah. This month has been
You
really
never
bad.
lose that. You never lose that.
Yeah.
well, and that's one of the things I think, Connie, as far as being able to get back into the room, if we do that again, even if we're not getting our points, if we get back into the room and go into the team room on the challenge, that may, we'll talk to one another and keep you motivated and accountable as well, because we want you to succeed. So,
yeah. And the conversations have started. Just join in. We can't wait to hear from everybody. Steffi, you lost how many pounds?
Well, since I started the challenge, it has been, I was 270 and I'm now 240. So
Wow. Good.
So,
that's
getting
awesome. Congratulations. That's incredible.
it's
she's doing awesome.
constant struggle though.
Yeah.
Especially as I approach my period. We're talking about stress. And for me, my eating time is my period. So I'm having
I remember that. I don't think anybody in the room here with you still has one.
I know. I'm the cursed one.
Well, it's a blessing as long as you get it every month. Okay?
Well, yeah.
So, did you ever experience return weight gain during that 30 pounds and take it back off again?
Well, I mean, before I started on the challenge, I was losing weight because I started out about a year and a half ago and I was 293. And I lost down to about 250. And then, as you know, my grandparents got really sick and I began to not have the time to work out because I was with them all the time, helping take care of them.
Yep.
And then, of course, when they both passed, that unfortunately was a huge
stressor.
Stressor. And I just kind of gave up on a little bit of everything at that point. I went back up at that point to 270. Now I'm trying to go back down again.
So it's normal, Cheryl.
Yeah.
That's the point. It's normal.
Okay. I see that. It was just depressing.
Yeah. Well, we don't want
it does suck. Yeah. I mean, it sucks, but it happens.
Yeah. We don't want that. We don't want it to be depressing. So let me share my screen for a minute because I intended to do this earlier and did it. Where is it? Come back here a little bit. There they are.
Oh,
That's beautiful.
Now, Dorothy, so all of us can hear it. Which one took Best in Show?
Both of them.
Oh my gosh, which one? All three of them?
No, those are my two.
Oh, what's this down here? This isn't you.
No, that isn't me. That's
So you took Best in Show in both of them.
Oh,
of an animal and a bird.
Yeah.
good job.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everybody can see it better now, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about Tony, and then we're going to have a little bit of information sharing. But Tony hurt his arm in June on vacation with just a sprain. And he went, when we got back, we took him to emergency room. Emergency room get everything, and sent him to an orthopedic surgeon. So he went to the orthopedic surgeon. He gave him a sling to hold his arm in, which helped a lot. But while they were x-raying his hands, they saw that he had arthritis. And they decided they would treat him for his arthritis. He had no pain from it, elderly aches and pains, nothing debilitating. Anyway, so he gave him this prednisone, and he told him that he could take all 6 at one time because we were getting the Z-Pack. The first line had 6 in it, next 5, 4, 3 to wean you. And he told Tony he could take that that night, but it would keep him awake. And so Tony decided to do it the next morning. And because he had told him he could take all 6, he went and took all 6 that morning. The very next day, he was in pain and his hands were swollen. We went back to that same doctor. He said he didn't understand why that would happen and gave him some kind of pain pill for the pain. And Tony took 1 pill and it was making him imbalanced, and he was getting sick to his stomach. So he didn't take that again. And then I said, if you've got arthritis, let's go to a specialist in arthritis. So then we went to Dr. Aziz. And Dr. Aziz, we told him, he gave him this medicine and this is how he took it. And the Dr. Aziz didn't feel like it was going to be a factor in anything. He said, but Dr. Robinson had prescribed too high a dose for someone his age, but he couldn't, because of it being what it is, he couldn't take him off of it. So he was going to lower his dose and wean him off of it, but he put him on him another 45 days. So now it moved to his legs, his feet, and we went back into Dr. Aziz and we said, he has to get off this medicine. Dr. Aziz said, okay, have him do 10 milligrams for 3 days, 5 milligrams for 3 days, and then every other day of 5 milligrams. So we did that, and we got him off of that medicine, and he just kept progressively getting worse and worse and worse. He's to the state now, he just goes from the couch to the bed. And
Oh my God.
Anybody that knows Tony. So we found us an internist, and we got to him. We wanted one person in charge of all this information, and he took a look at all the information that was there. But he told Tony, your legs are so swollen, and you have this shortness of breath and this lethargy. I'm worried you have a blood clot. Why don't you go to the emergency room? So we took him to the emergency room, spent the day there. They eliminated everything. He's healthy as can be. And we finished up other blood work that is arthritis related. And all of that came back to him today, and we went in today, and he looked at it. He gave Tony a clean bill of health, except for the condition that he's in. And he told Tony what has happened is with this prednisone, that it has just shocked his system, and everything that works naturally is not working naturally now. And he said they may even have to put him back on to get him off of it in a way where his body can resume normal function. But that he's not in danger of anything like happening to him. It's just how bad he is. Don, he is going to go to Barbara and Gary's tomorrow and do the 2 cups of Epsom salt and baking soda and the cider vinegar, right? I got the formula right here. I haven't tried it yet. But now he's going to start working on those kind of things to get his body back where it should be. Now, what I want to say, and the only reason I share this because I know all y'all love Tony and all y'all are feeling this pain from afar. And believe me, I'm feeling it really close and personal because I've never seen him sick, and seeing him sick only reminds me of the inevitable. I'm just glad we're not talking inevitable here, but I've certainly gotten a glimpse at it. But us, when we're asked that question about being optimally healthy, we all think of it as losing weight. I mean, Marcia and Dick get it more, and Dorothy get it more than I get it, and Don gets it totally. But I got it when I was in there with Tony's treatment, because we do practice the habits of health. We aren't eating things we shouldn't eat. We do eat whole food, and we do go to the gym and exercise. All of those factors could be eliminated really quick. Where had we been our original weight, if we still were eating the way we used to eat, those things would have always been looked at as the blame for everything that was going on, and they really would not have looked for what was actually happening, and they couldn't rely on their answers. Just imagine, could he really say to me right now that what's happened to Tony is the prednisone if we had a horrible lifestyle as where it comes to our health, that we didn't exercise and we didn't eat properly and stuff like that? Well, they could have never said that conclusively. But because of that, it really has put another face to me on what we're all doing here. And I have been doing the lessons in the book, and I find, unless you have that book and going through the lessons, I'm not enjoying those as much as I do the information sharing. So in the future, and I'm going to start tonight, and I'm going to just start from where I began and what I've learned and why I feel the way I do. You can take from any of it you want, or you can even add to it and help us all grow together. But I think the question of if you could be optimally healthy, would you choose to be? What would you say, Stephanie?
Oh yeah. I mean, I want to be head to toe, like
healthy. As healthy as you can be.
Exactly.
And is that your motivation to Marcia and Avita?
Yes, definitely.
And Cheryl, is that ultimately you want to, when you walk in and see a doctor and have a serious problem, you want to be able to tell him the things he needs to know without outside factors coming in.
Really.
And Dorothy, what do you want to add on that subject?
I think that it's very important to do the things that are necessary, especially nowadays, because if you don't care about yourself, they won't care about you either.
That's true.
The doctors, and even when they're doing their best, they're still working in the dark. So the more you can give them to work with, the more they can help you. Now, Dawn has just had a recent experience where she was at the hospital, and I'm not going to speak for her. I would like her to share that. But this is so important of you being the advocate for yourself. I mean, all the way through this, just you heard the stories I said of this doctor, that doctor, and then the third doctor. There's a time that I'd have just stayed with that first doctor and let him handle Tony or handle me because I wouldn't have any other choices. But because I've learned so much, it's the first time I actually felt like I was partnering with a doctor, as opposed to going in there and waiting for him to tell me what to do. Go ahead, Dawn.
Well, there's so much that I've learned over the last over 4 years. But the last trip that I missed out on our last Zoom because I was in the ER. Oh. And while I was in the ER, that doctors always think that I'm drug seeking because they don't know what's wrong with me. So when I go in there, they want to do all these tests, and I tried telling them, well, at this point, I couldn't talk at all. I had a double attack I have one attack that is called stridor, where I kind of gasp for air and I make funny noises. And then I have another attack where I'm like gagging, where it sounds like I'm vomiting or I'm choking on something. Well, this one was both. So I was very difficult to understand. And I was trying to, with sign language and whatnot, and tell them that what was going on with me and, you know, what they needed to do. And they were trying to give me a breathing treatment, which does not work because my lungs are perfectly fine, to the point of irritating a doctor. When they tell you to take a deep breath, they get pissed off because it takes me so long to exhale to take my next deep breath. They get mad because there's nothing wrong with my lungs. My lungs are perfectly fine. It's my vocal cords. And so then they wanted to do this other steroid treatment. Well, steroid treatment burns my vocal cords. It's like they're on fire. So I was telling them, you know, shaking my head, no. Well, now they're trying to make me out that I'm being an uncooperative patient because I don't want to do the things that they tell me I got to do. At the next time, now I'm having an attack so bad I can't talk. My sister-in-law came in and they wanted to do a chest x-ray. And she was like, no, you're not doing a chest x-ray on her because there's nothing wrong with her lungs. If she doesn't need it, she's going to get charged for it. She doesn't need the radiation. And I'm just like shaking my head, my hands going, no, I don't need a chest x-ray. I'm trying to write on my arm what it is I need for them to give me. Well, they think I'm drug seeking. They've never heard of what's wrong with me. And so they agreed to give me one of the medication. Huh?
Tell them what the doctor said when the doctor finally gave you what you were trying to tell them all the time.
Well, that's where I was getting. They gave me the one medication, and he said, it doesn't matter, you're only getting the one, and he left the room. And that's when he sent all the other stuff. Well, I had the whole ER in such an uproar that the people that clean the rooms, other patients and other people that are there for other patients were freaking out because I was so bad. And I told my sister-in-law to let my mom know that I loved her, and because I was getting worn out, I couldn't get air in. I almost fell out of the bed because they didn't put the rail up. I told the nurse, you either better stay there so you can hold me up because I'm either going to pass out or die, one of the two. You got to get me my medicine. I went digging in my purse and I found a prescription pad from a doctor that had written on it what it is I need. I showed it to a nurse. So she went and talked to the doctor. In the interim, they had talked to my personal physicians, and there was lots of phone calls. This was like a 4-hour ordeal. And I was 2 hours before I actually even went to the hospital. And finally, the doctor comes in and he says to me, I am so sorry. I apologize to you because I have never heard or seen and can't find anything on. It doesn't make sense to me. I have no idea why this medication works for you. And so they finally, after almost 2 hours, they gave me the medication. And they treated the poor EMTs who got me in the ambulance because they couldn't do blood pressure on me. They couldn't listen to my lungs. They couldn't do anything because I couldn't sit up and they couldn't listen. And so finally, they give me the medication that I asked for to the very beginning. And 10 minutes later, I pushed my button on the intercom and I told the nurses, just like I'm talking right now, you can come in and listen to my lungs. You can do an EKG. You can take my blood pressure. You can do whatever you need to do. I'm fine now. If you'd given me that, I'd have been out of here in half an hour. But they don't know because of what's wrong with me is so strange.
So again, how prepared you are when you go to a doctor and having the right doctor in place. I mean, I don't know how Dawn could do anything different, but I'm just the whole point in having her share it with you. The doctor's not going to look out for your best interest. Many times he's busy with 4 or 5 other people.
Yeah.
If you don't go in there and it's a day when things have gotten severe, and this is what we're doing in this health challenge as we're educating ourselves, that one day when we actually need to know this stuff, it will come in handy. Marcia, very briefly, went to the doctor today by himself, and now Marcia is left in a dilemma because they've changed medication. She thinks, go ahead, Marcia, real quick.
He had that viral infection 2 months ago. And then 2 weeks ago, he went in because he wasn't getting better. And they ordered, we went to Sovereign first, and he ordered an antibiotic. And when we went to get it, the pharmacist called and said he was very uncomfortable filling this, and he did not want to fill it until he talked to the doctor because his thing said that the medicine Dick was on for the viral infection and what it did to his heart, the AFibs and stuff, it could have killed him if he had taken that antibiotic. So they gave him something else, and I think they put him on prednisone, and it has messed him up terrible. He went back today. They have him on medicines he's not taking. They're taking away a medicine he has to have. And it's like, I just talked to the pharmacist, and he's not sure whether this antibiotic is one he can take with the medicines because the list they gave him is not the right one. I was going over it. I'm so glad now they have to give you a readout because when I was reading through it, they have his medicine screwed up.
Mm.
And this is the pulmonary doctor. And when he went to him 2 weeks ago, and this is Dr. O'Brien, and O'Brien is a fantastic, I'm not knocking, even Paul, he started to order the same antibiotic. And when I looked at it, I said, he cannot take that because he's taking this. And he said, I checked it on my phone because, or his computer has it that it comes supposed to come up and say if there's any conflict with the medicine Dixon. Yeah. And so he went on, he said, I'm going back to the physician. And the PDF that physicians have, or PDF that the physicians have, are more detailed and better than the ones that we can get to. And he came back, he said, I am so sorry. He said, if I had taken it, it could have really done terrible damage to Dick. So now I'm not too sure because he's not there. He's gone to a conference for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and he won't be back until next week. And I'm not too sure I want Dick to take the antibiotic that the nursing practitioner has ordered. So I am going to do some research tomorrow morning before we do anything, and I have got to call them and tell them and either talk to Susan or I want to talk to Dr. Riggs.
Okay.
So it's just
Is he taking probiotics?
Yes, taking probiotics.
Are Tony
Marcia used
both taking
it.
Yeah.
And how are you doing? Did you double up on it?
No, I didn't.
Did you double up on it?
No, I didn't double.
One in the morning, one at night?
No.
When you're taking an antibiotic or a steroid, you should double up on your probiotic.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
I did give Tony a probiotic, but I didn't double up. So thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
So the fact that all of this comes together tonight, and there's probably other stories out there in everybody's past that sounds just like this. The doctors are necessary. They're not bad, and they don't intend you harm. They're just people like us that's been to school. And probably nobody, if they fell apart every time they lost a patient, they couldn't be a doctor. So they have become very removed from the whole situation. And that's why we need to be proactive in our own lives. So we can't wait until we're in a dire moment to actually create what we need to get us through that moment. So if you got a pencil and paper, you get a pencil and paper, I'm going to give you a list of what you can do for yourself and just have it handy, and you'll never know when it'll be the very thing you need. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
We actually discussed this in one of our classes here at the Cove a long time ago. And I started practicing those things, and this was the day I got to do it. And Marcia, that was when we talked about how to partner with a doctor. That class has been 3 years ago. Yeah. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay. Keep current records of all doctor visits, illnesses, surgeries, and the dates are important. It's very
Connie, the one funny thing about my doctor, he gives me a binder with all of it in it to take home, so that if I have to go see any other doctor, it's all inside that binder.
Did you give that?
Every visit.
Did you give that to the hospital?
Now, he has it also on a laminated card, which has all my medications, all my surgeries, my last EKG, everything from the last time, so that it fits in my wallet, and I just hand him that, especially when I can't talk.
Jeez, and they still did that. Okay. So leave nothing out. You may think it's pertinent, or you may not think it's pertinent, but only the doctor will know, because a lot of times what you're talking about might not have anything to do with the headache you had 2 days ago. You always reveal everything. You don't reveal what you think matters. You reveal everything that you have experienced, so the doctor has all the information. Always have another set of ears with you. I go with Tony because he's hard of hearing, but I had a friend, Dee, that when she went to the doctor and they told her she had lung cancer, And she wasn't going to get treatment for it, but she didn't hear nothing after lung cancer.
Oh.
She didn't know what the doctors had said to her. So, and that does happen. And you don't know when you go into a doctor's office what they're going to say when they do all these tests. You're hopeful, and many times you're dreading, but pretty much having another set of ears there with you. So if a bad message like that does come your way, you have someone who's not going to be in shock there, advocating for you and listening. And the next thing is, just because the doctor says so doesn't make it so. Remember, you possess all the information. He only has bits and pieces, and a lot of that he dismisses and forgets. List all medications, their strength, their dosage. Vitamins are a form of medication, so you need to put your vitamins on there. Your family history, what runs in your family. If you have any metal in your body. If you need a specialist, ask your doctor who he would send his mother to. Consult your pharmacist regarding your medicines and side effects. This is a big one. We didn't do this until yesterday. And Tony went in to fill a prescription and said, hey, can you come over here and look at my hands and tell me, have you ever seen anything like this? And he said, yeah, it looks like you've been taking prednisone and had a reaction. Tony said, exactly. He says, the pharmacist says, you're retaining water. Just get your doctor to give you a water fluid, a water pill, and that will relieve this for you. And we said, no kidding. Duh. So when we went back to the doctor today, we said to him what the pharmacist had said, and he says, aren't you taking a water pill? Well, he's a new doctor.
Oh.
Why he would dismiss that, I don't know. But like I said, information.
Jesus.
And then a list of your allergies, medicine, and food.
And celery, Connie, is a really great natural diuretic.
He doesn't eat celery, so that ain't gonna work. And he's a horrible patient. You want him? He's horrible.
I'm pretty good with them.
He keeps thinking I'm trying to get him to do something, and I'm not. He thought I was the one that was reducing his dose. I said, why would I do that? I'm no doctor. Okay, guys. Everybody get what they wanted? Do you have any questions? And then I'll just start our lesson for this week. We good?
I think it's good.
All right, here we go. So we are all on a high-fat diet, FACT. We have too much information, most of it conflicting. So let's turn our thinking to what nutritional science teaches us. We all know what the first food rule was, whether we realize it or not. Who thinks they know the first food rule? Okay. It was, don't eat that apple. Remember where it was? They ate the forbidden. They break the first food rule. And what happened? They felt shame and they hid their bodies. They are punished. They're expelled from paradise. Does this scenario sound familiar to anyone?
Yep.
Yeah, it's amazing how these little metaphors come around. These are the good foods. These are the bad foods. You break the food rule and then you feel what? Shame for breaking your own food rule, and then you punish yourself. Now, what are some of the common ways we punish ourselves for breaking our food rule? It could be going on the diet. That's a punishment that we do to ourselves when we've not eaten the way we should. Or we might do right the reverse of it and binge on the food. We've already done that, so we might as well just have some more. And you just punish yourself with guilt and with shame.
Oh, kitty.
Does anyone else have another way that we punish ourselves when we don't do food the way we do? We know we should? No?
Then you
Okay.
don't eat.
Then you don't eat. There's another
Well,
one.
I mean,
That's good.
right.
Goodbye.
Anybody else? Anything?
I think negative self-talk.
Exactly. Shame, guilt.
Yeah.
Very good. So, one of the most common forms of punishment is exercise. Who would think that?
Oh.
How many people are out there because they love to exercise, and how many people are exercising because they have body fat from eating food? Yeah, how about that one?
And it doesn't work.
There you go. So we've come a long way since the garden. We are confused about what to eat. Seldom will you see an animal in nature, a cow, for instance, wondering, gee, should I stay on a grass diet or should I switch to frogs? A cow never worries about getting too fat. They should. That's when they get market. Animals do food naturally. Human beings seem to be the only creatures that need to learn about eating and need to learn about their bodies. Humans are always to have to figure out how to get back to a state of eating that truly, really works and takes us where we want to go. That's the reason when you hear people who have enjoyed the benefits of the 5-in-1 through Medifast, it's because it does work for everyone and it does get you where you want to go, but it is not the only way. And half of the story is what we eat. Half of the story is how we eat. That means who we are as eaters. What is your level of stress or relaxation when you eat? How much pleasure do you receive from your food?
A lot.
Good. How aware of your meal when you're eating it?
Very aware.
And what are the thoughts you're having when you are eating?
This is good.
These factors dramatically affect our metabolic and nutritional status. Under the optimal state of digestion and assimilation, what is your state of mind while you eat? Are you relaxed? Do you have a sense of pleasure as you're eating? Are you fully aware of how much you're eating? Are you experiencing nice conversation, music? If not, to what extent you are not, then you will not be metabolizing the meal to its fullest extent. You will not extract to the fullest extent valuable vitamins and minerals from that meal. You will not calorie burn to its fullest capacity. We are going to learn the latest science of nutrition and what truly works for our body. Nutrition is not simply a one-size-fits-all business. You and I are biochemically unique. We are going to learn our differences and similarities. We're going to learn what works for each of us. And next week, we will pick up from here.
Okay.
Do you like that better? I do.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I like that.
All right.
We need to listen to our body.
Yeah, that's all we need to do, isn't it?
Well, I get a
Yeah,
question.
we know our bodies better than anybody else.
Go ahead, Cheryl.
Okay, I got a couple of questions because I have been missing out. So first of all, you all are going ahead into the Meltdown Challenge?
Yes.
Okay. So if I look, that should be on my email then, right?
You want to get together with me in the morning and get it all set up again?
I can't do it in the morning. I've got to take my grandson to get a car part and a couple other things.
Are you going to be home? Are you going to be home later in the day?
Yes, I will.
Just give me a call and then we'll sit down and do it.
Yeah, because I need to discuss this. Okay, I really do, and I need your help, people.
Okay.
We're here for you.
Yeah.
All right, thank
One of
you.
the things, Cheryl, I put on the New Health Challenge.
Sign into Meltdown Challenge.
Would you
I'm
say?
sorry?
Say it again, Dawn.
Sorry, Mars. Go ahead.
One of the
I'm sorry, I interrupted.
That's okay, Dawn. One of the reasons, one of the things I wrote was that getting the points is for the team and to be supportive of them. But the main thing is what we learned from doing the points, because everything they say, even though we've heard it, I mean, I'm a nurse and I took care of my parents who were diabetic, and yet I ended up being my sugar going sky high and being on insulin 4 times a day and all that. And I knew better. But I think being in the challenge, it's like, it's for us. Those points are for us. And if you do them, you will learn. And it's like I had tried to tell Dick for years that drinking just iced tea is not, and a couple cups of coffee a day is not good for you. Yeah. That you needed water. Well, the last challenge he was in, it connected. They had several times put in there how important it was to drink water, and then they come right out and said that coffee and soda and tea and that is not, it does not hydrate you, it dehydrates you. And so now he very rarely drinks tea, and I can't imagine, because that man carried a huge mug and it was always filled with iced tea.
We can change, see?
Yep.
Go ahead, Don.
Hey, Dawn.
Hey, I want Cheryl, everybody else, and Connie and I, we talked about this yesterday, is our bodies will tell us. Cheryl, you already know that you're starting to get frustrated and upset. That's your body telling you, okay, you're not doing something right. Let's go back and think about what we were doing that was making us happy. Our bodies will tell us. The example I told Connie is, a lot of times when people have a headache, they put their fingers between their eyes and they push on that, totally unaware of the fact that those are meridian and chakra points that stop a headache. The body knows instinctively to do that, so it just does. A dog will go lay below a pine tree if it has an infection, because the pine tar from that will help heal their bodies. So we know instinctively what to do, but sometimes we doubt that, and we think about things that other people have told us what to do, and we don't give ourselves enough credit that, yeah, we do know what we're talking about. We know how our body feels. We know what makes us feel the best, and we need to try and go use that and incorporate it into all of the other stuff that we learn.
Yeah. Like I started a fact diet, too many facts. Listen to your body. We're going to learn about what's natural. And I think as we do that, we won't be feeling like we're in a fight.
Okay.
I think it will become a natural instinct to us. And that's where I hope to take this next challenge to. Go ahead, Dorothy.
I know everything that I should be doing and I shouldn't be doing, but I always think I'm in control. Mm-hmm. I always feel like I know what I'm doing as I'm eating the things that I'm not supposed to eat.
I know, yeah.
Well, you know, there's a fallacy out there that there's good food and there's bad food. Bad food is something that's spoiled. There is no such thing as bad food and good food. There's just food. And that misconception of thinking something's bad makes us have reactions to something that's not even true. Food is either good for you, really good for you, or not good for you at all. And that's what we're really dealing with, not good and bad. Nobody's eating spoiled food.
Well, the only way that I can honestly not eat thinking that I'm in control is by planning what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I say to myself, I'm in control. I can eat this. And 2 hours later, I don't even remember I ate it, and then I'm eating again.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
I actually literally have to be controlled by what I write down.
Habits.
I have to write it down. I have to plan it out. Otherwise, my day is gone, and I'm at 6 o'clock trying to figure out what I'm going to eat.
Yeah.
And that's not good. You're not eating the right things at 6 o'clock if you didn't plan them at 9 o'clock in the morning.
One of the things that helped me the most in the challenge, get control of my eating, and I thought it was the silliest thing to do, and I didn't really engage in it until I became a coach and started helping other people, and that was writing down everything that went into your mouth, the journaling. And once I started doing that, it really was impactful, and that's a simple thing. And it isn't, and you have to be honest on it. A lot of people, they lie about their weight, they lie about how much they eat, they lie about what they eat. And that's more common than not. But when you have that accountability, I love my Fitbit for that. And I do log my food in my Fitbit. But before I did that, I had a form. And I actually like my form better than I do my Fitbit because I can it's just longhand right there. But I'm not doing that. I didn't revert back to it. I'm using my Fitbit. I'm just not perfect at it yet. And I'm going to keep going because I think that's the way for me as far as the future. But I can't tell you how impactful it is because it sounds like a little nothing. But the planning and the journaling are two things that will get you where you want to go.
And for me is the 6 times a day, or at least 5.
Yes.
And because I've had such a rough month, it's been really hard for me to get sometimes 3 meals in a day because I just can't eat. It's not physically possible for me. So I've been teetering around, back and forth for my weight, by 3 or 4 pounds from what I weighed out as. And it's amazing that I feel hungry and at the time that I know I should eat, but my body is not in a place where I can eat. And that's a big pain in the focus, but it's just something that I deal with. And it's the other thing that I want to share with everybody that I shared with Connie yesterday was I want to apologize because I said that I was really wanted to be supportive of everybody for the month of August and be on the huddle. And I did make a couple of comments in the room. Does everybody know that this room is available once we signed up that we could get in the room? But I've had such a bad month. I am not a boo-hooer. I don't like to complain. I usually text my mom in the morning and tell her, yep, I'm okay. I had a rough night or I'm having a rough morning, but I'm okay. Because I don't like to dwell on the fact that I have these complications and they cause me all kinds of little issues and whatnot. But the importance of the fact that once we get on the 6 times a day, and Cheryl, if you were eating things that were not healthy for you, that were like high in sugar or high in carbs, if you can make yourself stay on track for 3 days, that will help that die down because you have accumulated yeast, which is then calling for yeast. So it's going to make you crave things that are not good for you and not. So if you can go for 3 days just with the mindset that I'm going to stick to this. This is important to me. I want to be healthy. I'm not going to eat those things that are causing me problems. That'll help you because then it'll be easier to get back on track. It's just getting past those 3 days because it's a chemical reaction that goes on in the body, and you want to get past that.
Yeah.
That'll be my mini challenge, my 3-day mini challenge.
There you go. And recent gain is quicker loss than gain that's been on you for a while.
Well, that's probably true.
Okay. So, anybody else? This has been really good. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Nice seeing you. We'll catch you next Tuesday. Thanks,
Okay.
everybody. Dorothy, congratulations, honey. And congratulations to everybody's weight loss.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you in the room.
Yeah.
Have a good night, everybody.
Mom, you'll have to get a picture of the tree.
Mom?
The tree.
What tree?